All right, let's talk about a huge paradox of our time. We have more access to information than ever before, right? I mean, it's all at our fingertips. And yet it feels like we're drowning in more confusion and conflict than ever. So, how did we get here? And what if the answer isn't in some new tech, but in a very, very unexpected place? Let's dive in. This question really gets to the absolute heart of the problem. The power to broadcast a message to the entire world, that used to be for a select few. But now, thanks to social media, everyone's been handed a megaphone. And that has changed everything. So, to really get a grip on our current situation, we've got to start with this massive structural shift in how we get our information. It's what you could call the total collapse of the traditional gatekeepers. Just look at the contrast here. It's like night and day. In the past, you had trained experts handling what got broadcasted, academics, journalists, officials. Their whole job was to verify information and build trust. But now, we're smack in the middle of the era of SNS, or social networking services. Anyone can post an unverified thought, and with a single retweet, boom, it's circling the globe. The very experts who used to check the facts are completely bypassed. And the consequences, well, they're things we see every single day. Information just spreads like wildfire before anyone has a chance to check if it's true, which sparks all these online flame wars. And because our real and online lives are so tangled up, our privacy is at a much greater risk. This whole system also creates these powerful echo chambers where bad information just gets repeated and reinforced, fueling a ton of social anxiety. So, what's the fix? The most common answer you hear is education. Just teach people to be smarter online. And, that makes a lot of sense, but only up to a point. I mean, the ideal solution would be this really solid digital literacy education taught from a young age. And it would go way beyond just basic computer skills. We're talking about real critical thinking, how to check your sources, how to protect your personal info, and how to spot the risks of online fights. This is without a doubt a super crucial foundation for any healthy digital society. But here's the rub with that top-down approach. As our source material points out, formal education can feel kind of stuffy, especially to younger people. And even more important, what about all the folks who are already out of school, or the ones who've just fallen through the cracks of the system? A one-size-fits-all program just isn't going to reach them. And this is where our explainer takes a really dramatic turn. If the standard top-down solutions aren't enough to help everyone navigate this chaotic new world, maybe the answer isn't in the future at all. Maybe, just maybe, it's in the distant past. So yeah, if the big institutional approaches from governments and corporations are always going to miss someone, where do we turn? I mean, has anyone ever actually succeeded in reaching the people who fall through the cracks? That's right, we're going back in time, almost 800 years, to medieval Japan. It probably seems like the absolute last place you'd look for a solution to a social media problem, but trust me on this, it's all connected. So I want to introduce you to a man named Ninsho. He was a Buddhist monk back in the 13th century, and his entire life's mission was to provide direct, practical help to the people who had been completely abandoned by society. He wasn't just about preaching, he was about building a system of support from the ground up. So what did he actually do? Let's break down Ninsho's incredibly effective model. Turns out it was built on 4 key pillars. And as we go through them, I want you to think about how this might just apply to our world today. Okay, so his model was built on 4 pillars. First, something called radical inclusivity. He helped everyone, no questions asked, from the poor to even abandoned animals, without ever taking sides. Second, direct intervention. He didn't just hand out charity, he built practical stuff like hospitals and roads. Third was financial autonomy. He figured out how to create self-sustaining funding through things like donations and toll rights. And finally, shared motivation. He built this powerful community of volunteers who were all united by a common purpose. Okay, I know. It's a fascinating history lesson, for sure. But what in the world does a 13th century monk have to do with misinformation and online trolls? Let's connect the dots. Take a look at this comparison. The marginalized people in Ninsho's time were the ones society just left behind, while today we have our own digitally marginalized people. These are the groups that those big, sweeping literacy programs often miss. We're talking about the elderly, people in rural areas, low-income users, and others who are outside the mainstream. They are, by far, the most vulnerable to scams and misinformation.
So here it is, the core takeaway. Ninsho's model is basically a blueprint for today. It suggests that alongside all the big top-down initiatives, we need another layer of support. Small, flexible, community-driven networks. These are the groups that can provide tailored, specific help to the digitally vulnerable in a way that big institutions just can't. It's a hybrid approach.
And that leaves us with this final, really fascinating question. As we all struggle to find our footing in this crazy digital world, maybe the most innovative solutions aren't about more technology or more top-down rules. Maybe to truly create a more inclusive and informed digital society for every single one of us, we need to combine our modern tools with the timeless wisdom of radical community-based care.